Hey builders, Brick Karate up here to show off my Daily Bugle custom mock that is an additional floor for that build. My main focus on this was to build a shorter floor so I could have more rooms in the building while keeping it at a manageable height. It's already a very tall building and barely fits in my room. Let's just kind of look at what I did here. One of the most obvious differences is this front wall here. You can see I did keep some of the details consistent, as there are those columns in the same spots as the ones on the actual Daily Bugle floors. Though they're not the same, there is consistent detail. And I also added the same windowsill details. Another change that I thought added a lot more variety to it are the taller window pieces used there. It saved on the piece count and also just provided a different look. I wanted to use a lot of these brick type pieces, so that's all over the build. And this whole wall is one piece, kind of like the main build, but it connects a little bit different. I actually had stud connections on it, so it's not as loose and doesn't flop out. So right there, stud connection. And also it attaches to the floor above it. An upside to the original build is the level of ease that there is when you're putting back the front walls. This wasn't 100% possible with the way that I built my custom floor, so you might need to remove the floor to comfortably place the wall in. After you put it in, there should be no more issues and it holds in nicely. One of the issues with the half-size floor was the fire escape. As you can see in the original floors, it's a little taller and has room for 2 of the builds there. And with the half floor, I was only able to accommodate one of those segments, which doesn't leave much of a gap, so I would say it's pretty believable. This is the print room for the Daily Bugle. I bought some of the extra newspaper prints just so I had enough to build this. So there's a bunch of no crime newspapers. This is very inspired by Tommy C. Brick's build, but he made the floors bigger like in the original set. I just wanted to save money, so this is a lot more manageable build and will be easier for you to get. Here is the print machine. It is more or less my own build, as I looked at pictures from other people and put together something that looks good to me and is short enough to fit into the smaller room. This piece moves a little bit, but is held in by bar pieces on the sides. And there's some control panel prints there and gauges just to show that it's working and if there's going to be any errors. And on the other side, there's a red stop button and then another dial, maybe for print speed or anything like that. There's also some wheels on the side that could be used for changing paper, changing maybe the angle of this if you have a bigger roll of paper on the top there. Just a lot of different ideas there for play or for display. The print machine is held down by these 2 different jumper plates right there. Getting the geometry right for the print machine to fit perfectly where it doesn't bump into the wall and leaves enough room around it for people to walk was kind of difficult, but I finally got it done. Moving further into the room, there are a bunch of boxes just to show the papers being packaged, and then a pile of papers just waiting to be put in those boxes. I created this floor to be right above the main floor, so it does have the escape door there that'll go out to the roof when it's on the actual Daily Bugle. I wanted to do this so if I had this custom floor and then another one, I could have it sandwiched between the actual Daily Bugle floors. Quickly, here it is on its intended place on the Daily Bugle, right above the wider floor where it has the balcony. And I have Craven and the symbiote Spider-Man fighting there. And back here is my dark room for developing the pictures. Inside of it, there is a sink, a shelf with a bunch of different chemicals, and also the canisters that are used to put the pictures in there and then mix up the chemicals inside of them. I thought this was a very important thing for a newspaper to have like this, just because they'd be dependent on that older technology. And as a film student, I spent some time in the dark room developing Super 8 film, so I just thought it'd be a fun thing to represent in Lego that kind of relates to my real life experiences. And also this machine here, not entirely sure what it is, but when I looked up pictures of dark rooms, it was present in those pictures. Another fun little Easter egg in there are all of these pictures here. Just a sort of corkboard, trying to figure out what his identity is. Maybe this is an idea that they're kind of piecing out for their next paper. Has a post-it note there, maybe just with some notes of some ideas for who Spider-Man is. Just thought that'd be an important thing to have, just their planning process for the paper. Though the darkroom is a bit of a tight fit, you can fit probably a character there at the sink and another one at that machine. The sink is a little bit tall, but I really wanted the lip and having drawers on the bottom just to add more in-universe storage to keep it a little more realistic. Like all of the other floors, I have the same elevator build there. Had to get a couple of extra pieces because these are exclusive to the Daily Bugle. And some things that I'm currently missing that I want to figure out how I specifically want to include it. I want to have a clock-in area right there and a telephone for emergencies. And I also want to add a clock there just to add more to that area for employees when they're checking in for the day. And another cool thing you can do with this is add the Green Goblin roof that I built if you want to use this different front look to differentiate your two Daily Bugles and have two different skyscrapers with different features. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.